Hey everybody, Keith Bergman here, live in the War Room, and I just wanted to start off by saying thank you, because this is episode 4 of Tales from the War Room. We put up episode 3 last Friday, and in 24 hours, it got double the page views of the previous episode. So that means a lot to me. Thank you so much for checking it out. And that just tells me there is a small but feverish community of like-minded weirdos out here that want to learn about the obscure software and the history of these retro computers. So with that in mind, strap in, because today we're talking Diablo. Oh wait, hold on. No, that's obviously not the right Diablo. Let's try that again. We're talking Diablo. What? No, that's Diguelo. That is arguably the most underrated ZZ Top album prior to their 1980s synth comeback. What is going? No, Diablo from Extended Software for the TI-99 4A. That Diablo.
Long before Blizzard brought the Lord of Terror to life in their Diablo franchise, the TI-99 4A saw the rise of a completely different Reign of Madness. Our Diablo is a sliding block puzzle game with 232 track pieces and 116 movable panels. And while it wasn't quite the epic franchise of the more famous Diablo, this plucky game did have life beyond 1983. A version of Diablo credited to Manuel Constantinitis and Extended Software surfaced for the Commodore 64, and the game made it to the Amiga and Atari ST later in the decade. A Japanese conversion for the Game Boy and Turbo-Grafx 16 was renamed the anagram Blodia, and then Time Ball. And the NES or Famicom even got a sequel in Japan called Blodia Land Puzzle Quest, in which, to no one's surprise, the ball was replaced with cute scampering dinosaur characters. But today we're talking about the big bang of the Blodia-verse, the one that started it all, TI-99 4A Diablo. Extended Software had already been a presence in the TI community for years, and as the name might have tipped you off, they were all in on the Extended Basic cartridge. Games like All-Star Baseball, Froggy, Gorfia Pestillitis, Kong, and Bouncer took advantage of the sprites and relative speed of the cartridge-based language, and the company even made their mark in productivity software, including a cassette-based word processor and database that we are totally going to try out one of these episodes. Diablo was a huge level up in the company's game quality, and it seems to have been their last big swing for the fences. It was prominently displayed in their November 1983 ad in 99er magazine, the last issue to hit newsstands before TI exited the home computer market. The tape was packaged in a plastic clamshell with a color cover, a high-stakes move for a small software company back then. This was their latest and greatest, their masterwork, and like so many other early entrepreneurs, the timing of TI's exit left them stranded. So as you can see, once the ball starts rolling in Diablo, the track starts disappearing beneath it. You get 1 point for every cleared piece of track, and your goal is to clear them all. Your ball starts moving and you think, that's pretty slow. And then you trace its path to see how far it's going to roll. At some point there'll be a break where it's going to fall off the track, and your job is to slide tiles around to keep that from happening. The thing is, every time you slide a tile, you move other pieces too. You make and break other connections, and you can accidentally cut off one path while you're trying to build another. You can hold down the Enter key to make the ball clear one piece of track instantly, but that's a dangerous road to go down, because before you know it, you're going to go from smooth sailing to, oh my god, I gotta move this piece halfway across the board in 15 seconds. As you can imagine, once you start clearing out that initial tangle of tracks, you're going to find all kinds of loose pieces scattered around the board, with no idea how to connect them to the path the ball is on. Now, it would be a huge help if you could wrap around the screen from left to right, or top to bottom, and you can. Just not till you've cleared 60 pieces of track first. Sometimes hitting Enter to speed through a section of tracks gets your ball past a certain point, so you can move the tile it's on and get the other track on that tile staged, or move to another section of the board without disrupting the ball's current path. trying to clear areas in sections deliberately in the early part of the game may be the key to avoiding stragglers later on when your options are dwindling. But, full disclosure, as much as I love this game, I completely suck at it, and I'm not the person to look to for winning strategy tips. Now, as you play Diablo, keep in mind that the 99.4A has 16K of built-in RAM. If you attach a disk system, that eats into the memory a little bit, and so does using Extended Basic. There's a 32K memory expansion available, but it's only accessible, at least at that time, from Extended Basic. If you shelled out for the cartridge and no other expansion, you are dealing with pretty much the least possible amount of memory for your code, about 11K of program space if I remember correctly. What he got done in 11K here just blows my mind. Now, I consider myself at least a little proficient in Extended Basic, and I'm not quite sure how he pulled this off with the tile graphics making all of the pipes work the way they do and disappear the way they do. I don't look at the code either because I kinda don't want to know. That way, when I lose for the 50th time, I can just assume his arcane programming skills have cursed me to a life of mortal failure and dozens of unconnectable track fragments. Diablo is just a thing of beauty. The visual of all those tracks at the beginning of the game is impressive, and then you see how easily they move and slide, the complexity of the puzzle ahead of you, and then everything just works at the pace it needs to be. It's such a deliberate game, but it's exactly the pace it needs to be. If it raced around like a Marble Madness kind of game, it would be too fast for the kind of puzzles you're doing, and it wouldn't work at all. It's exactly where it should be without falling into any of those traps of slow, draggy basic code. Now, if you've been waiting all this time to see me triumphantly beat the game and see a winning screen, this is about the best I can do for you. And I'm not going to make you watch the entire process of me embarrassing myself further. But I'd love to know if you've ever beaten this game yourself, or if you've ever played any of the other incarnations that we talked about earlier. Let me know in the comments if you're the last Bloatia puzzle junkie looking down your nose at all those posers playing Pokemon Go.
That's our episode. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to hit like at the bottom there, and make sure you hit subscribe if you're interested and you want to see more of these. We do Tales from the War Room every Friday. And next week we have a special episode planned, and I don't want to give any spoilers away, but if you really carefully observe this episode, you might get a hint or two. See you next Friday.